No, I let other people do that. It comes from working in the different projects, and you have a definition for a certain length of time, and then that changes and alters depending on what kind of work it's about or what kind of project. So I don't have a definition. No, it's always changeable, flexible, I think is the right word.
Another color, maybe?
Well, originally, I was rather interested in, when I was very young, I was interested in doing architecture. Yes. But then both my parents were architects. So really, I think they talked me out of it. And then I went to a design school and came out as a finished industrial designer, got my first job, and after a bit of time really would have liked to design cars. So, this is nothing new, right? Many young people want to do that. And the interesting thing is that in later life, with working with this electronic company, Bang & Olufsen, we have had some clients approach the company that would like us to, or like Bang & Olufsen, to install some of their equipment in cars. So although I have not designed a car, I have been working within the limits of the interior of a car, you could say. So, and that's okay. That's also fulfilling enough for me. So it's been interesting. It's interesting to see how they work, how the designers in a car factory work, and how all the interior business is done, and how big and difficult it is. So it was interesting. It's been very interesting and still is. I'm still working on it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Crazy bird. I remember one project I didn't accept, and that was doing jewelry for men. Yes, and this is many years ago. It's before men really went with jewelry. And I said to the person in charge that no, I didn't really think I was the right designer to do that kind of work. But he insisted, and I had to turn him down many times. But I don't regret it, because I don't think it's not quite my sort of line, really. But it's, since you asked, that is, I think, the only, yes, and the furniture. I was asked at one time by B&B, the well-known Italian company, if I would like to do some design work for them. And at the time, I was very pressed in my work, and so I just unfortunately had to decline. That would have been interesting. I don't use the computer for designing. I have other people that do that. But I use paper and pencil, and especially modeling techniques. My company we model everything in full size, in paper and cardboard. So we work a bit like a sculptor does, banging away like this, but we using glue and paste and paper and everything. This is the way we work. So in doing Bird, we worked with paper and cut in the ceiling, looking upwards, looking up at the lamp. That's why it ended up looking like this, a sort of flying machine. I think really the idea was that for office lighting, then it's up at a certain height, and I wanted something that was you call it with a glide plane. It's gliding in the air. It's like it has a movement. Of course, it doesn't move, but impression is of movement, and that is why this sort of wing-like construction we made, ribbed up in aluminium. That's why it ended up in this kind of segment. And the body where the light comes out underneath, the light goes out on the sides and is reflected on the tiny fluting on the aluminium, so it looks like it's moving. So that was basically the idea. Well, you can see better if, you know, when the weather turns sour, like now, you know, when it's dusk and it's the light, the sun has gone down. So we're looking basically for what do you call it, anastatning. We're looking for a supplement, you know, which gives us this warmth and give us back the day before we're going to go to sleep. You know, it's a bit like the birds. They just fall asleep when the light goes too little light, then they sleep, right? But we have a tendency to use our possibilities a little longer in the evening. So for me, this is, you know, an addition to the end of the day. Now, I've just been in an enormous light exhibition, and this is interesting because after 2 hours of going around in an exhibition, you're blind, completely blind by all the light, which is interesting, that it has such a physical effect upon one, that all you want to do is to run away to some dark corner, sit down where there's almost no light, and really get your visual sense to bay, back, where you don't have any influence of all this artificial lighting. And suddenly you discover you can see very well. It's quite interesting. I have one or two, I think, yes, which was interesting. One, I can't remember what it's called, Grand Design Prize or something, and it was for an audio system. And one day I was in Tokyo. This was quite many years ago now, and in one of the big stores in Tokyo, there was at the top of the building there was a department where my audio system was put in, and this is in Japan where, you know, they make everything. So it was a really great moment. Yes, I was very pleased. It was great.